Coach Morris had talked about the 4 minutes before half and 1 minutes after.
Right.
Have you guys come up with an explanation for why that happens, or is that just a matter of, a point of emphasis?
Well, I think it's just a point of emphasis. There's figure out why it happens. I don't know, because there's been situations, games where, we've been successful. But I think, it's definitely a point of emphasis. It's definitely something that our team and teams, have to be mindful of, because of the fact that, you don't want to be in a situation where you allow points or where you give them turnovers in those places in the game. The other points in the game are just as vital, but you definitely don't want to go into a halftime or come out of a halftime where you've made great adjustments and be able to give them plays. Sometimes you just feel like, what did I just talk about? So that's definitely been an emphasis point for us. But as you play with as many young guys, and I've said it before, as you play with as many young guys as we do, you're going to have mistakes, and you can't take those kids to the woodshed and give them a spanking when they make those mistakes. You just got to make sure that they learn from them.
In terms of interceptions that you guys have done and turnovers caused, what's been the secret behind that?
Again, I think it's no. You know what? I'm gonna change this response.
I mean, is that something that's in their head now?
No, I'm gonna tell you the truth.
It's snowball.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's magic. No, it's seriously. We've emphasized it as a staff. We've emphasized it, and from the spring going into fall camp, the emphasis placed on it, and our guys, in this program, Coach Morris said it the other day, it's been a situation where we have emphasized things and we've really shown these guys and given them a vision, and we're in a place now in this program where they've seen it come to light. And that's what happens, and that's what has happened with the turnovers, is our guys, we continually preach something. We talked to the defensive guys, to the defensive backs, about being aggressive, about being in position to make a play on the ball, and here they are. They're in a game, and they're in a place where they can make a play on the ball. They make a play on the ball, they get an interception. So now Coach finally knows what he's talking about, and so they do it again, and they do it again, and then there comes a point where they expect that they can do that, and it comes where their teammates rely on them to do it. And I remember a point in a game, the last game, where one of the offensive guys comes over to a defensive guy and says, okay, you guys got to get an interception. This is what you do. You got to get an interception. And of all suspects, Zelt Minor got an interception. He wasn't a guy that you draw it up on the board to get the interception, but still there's a belief in us being able to do that. And you just have to make sure that it carries over into everything that you do, and that it carries over into every game, no matter the opponent.
I mean, it's like that's what was lacking last year, because obviously you were stressing it last year.
Well, I think last year
they didn't have the reward and stuff like that. They didn't see it.
Right, they didn't see it, and last year we were working really hard just to be able to get ourselves into position. You have to, number one, be in position to make a play, but then when you are in that position, there are some people who make the play and there are some that don't. And many times if you can get into position, it's all about your mindset. It's all about the training that you have to give you the confidence to be able to attack the ball in the air. The one play, I go back to it, the one play that Jordan Wyatt lost on in the end zone, the post route, well, I'll tell you what, the guy from South Florida, receivers from South Florida, did a great job of hanging on to that ball, because Jordan made a great play on the ball in the air. And defensive backs all the time, even in the NFL, are in position on that route, on that play, but they don't make a play on the ball. They tackle him, or they push him down or whatever, but they don't make a play on the ball in the air. So to see him, even on that play, you know, where there's a touchdown scored, he made a play on the ball, and the receiver made a play as well as far as hanging on to that ball. So that's the emphasis, and you know, it's just happening, or it just happened really early to pay off, to give these guys the confidence to take it to another level, to expect to be able to make the plays.
Anything else?
Well, it's kind of along the same lines, but just the defense overall in terms of, like if you look at South Florida, the yards you allowed, I mean, other teams that have played them would kill for that, to allow that kind of yardage. Is that a tough thing to balance when you're like review the last game in the performance?
Well, you know, you look at the yards and those things and the turnovers and what we strive for, and I think this is the way that you do it. What we strive for is our best game. No matter the opponent, no matter the yards, you go all the way back to the Houston games, and our guys are still receiving pats on the back for that game. But we understand that that was not our best game. And that's what we strive for. We strive for playing our best game. South Florida, yeah, well, 2 years ago we played Houston and we held Greg Ward to his lowest output, but we didn't win the game, you know. So we look for our best game, for our best performance. We look, as coaches, we look for perfection, and that's just the way it is. Our guys, I don't think at any time since that South Florida game there's been any relief, because they knew they held them to the lowest output. But you can build off that, because we say that, you know, if we don't give them other plays, you know, if we're disciplined with our eyes on other plays, then what could have been the outcome? So because of that, coaches like me, we have jobs, you know, because it's not perfect, but that's what we strive for.
Navy is not as typically as explosive as most of the teams, or most of the teams certainly that we've struggled against this year. Are you able to be more aggressive with your defense, thinking that they're going to make mistakes, but mistakes might not hurt us as quickly as they do against some of these other teams?
Well, the thing is that when you study Navy, and we've studied them, they continually advance their offense. They are now in a place where they're throwing the ball a little bit better, and when you take risk, because, you know, when you look at their formation, when you look at their offensive sets, many of the times that you watch them, it's balanced. When you talk about pressure and when you talk about attacking, you're going to overload one side or another. So when the offense is balanced, and you say you're going to overload, well, if you overload the left side, for example, you're going to be really outmanned to the right side. If they run it to the right, you have serious issues. So that's what holds defenses back from pressuring them, is because you're guessing, you know. Now what you try to do is you try to move your front. You try to move your front, and then you balance your second level of defense with that. And any movement kind of throws them off balance, because they look for defenses to align, and they want you to align like they align in a balanced situation. So if you just offset your front, if you just move your front, that's just like a blitz to them. So I'm an aggressive play caller, and I spend a lot of my time creating blitzes, and so it's a little bit of a withdrawal for me not to be able to pressure like I'd like, but I do understand that just a simple movement of the front, sometimes 1 or 2 man movements, really gives Navy gives them problems. So I along with the staff will have to continue to come up with ways to disrupt their blocking patterns, because like I said, 1 or 2 man movements, it really throws them off.
Is there anybody close to Tulane or anything like that that's close to what they
Tulane is very close. Navy employs a triple option. So you got an option of you're gonna hand that ball off to the fullback. So you have to account for him with second level players essentially. Then you got the quarterback who can keep it. And last year, Keenan Reynolds was a very explosive player. Well, the new quarterback, this Worth is, man, just as explosive. He throws the ball a lot better than, you know, you've seen Navy quarterbacks over the years be able to do. So he really gives you fits, but him having the opportunity to carry the ball, the fullback carrying the ball, and then the opportunity to be able to pitch the ball. Everyone has to be assignment sound on every single play. They are now, like I said, the offense has continued to advance, so they're now getting you into different formations other than the balanced looks. So it is very important that our players understand that, number one, we have to be assignment sound. Number two, we have to do things to disrupt their pattern, because Coach Morris said earlier, it's a four down situation. Well, on first down, if they get 3, and second down, if they get 3, you got to get them off that track, off that pattern. We have done a great job throughout the season of creating lost yardage plays. We're going to have to do that. We're going to have to, we've done a good job of that, as we talked about, of stealing possessions from offenses. We're going to have to do that. And if we can do those things, then we give our offense an opportunity to capitalize and to put Navy in a situation where they are, you know, where they are trailing. Now, they've trailed in some games, but we feel like that's the biggest chance that we have, is to be able to get them out of the tit for tat situation where you go 1 for 1, score for score. We have to get them operating behind schedule within the series, but then on the scoreboard.
And then health-wise, are you guys okay for unit?
Listen, we have, Coach Morris has said it, we got one more. Where's that been? One more, right? So when you got one more, our players, this is important to them, and some guys may be out there on crutches, but they'll be out there.